The rumors are true, folks. RGT is still sick. Feeling all right, just don't feel like being on camera. Nose is a bit stuffy. I'm tired, coughing a little bit. I tested negative for the vid, so, that's a good thing, I guess. But we got something to talk about, and I'm going to make videos even if I'm sick because the show must go on, baby. And this was a story that came out yesterday, Friday afternoon, started gaining some steam over the night. So probably by today, a lot of people will be talking about it, probably even stupid Spawn Wave. So I'm going to try to schedule my video to come out before his does. I don't know. He likes to upload early sometimes, but we got a pretty sizable story from a very credible source, Nate the Hate. If you're not subscribed to the Nate the Hate podcast, what are you doing with your life? Go ahead and subscribe to it. I'll have a link to his channel in the description box down below. But Nate the Hate and some British guy, I don't know, his modern vintage weirdo, something or another, they like to discuss various things happening within the industry. And Nate the Hate made a pretty bold claim, but I think when you look at it, it's not really that outside of the realm of possibility, especially considering the relationship between some of these companies. So basically, Nate is saying that a critically acclaimed Xbox first-party game will be coming to a competitor platform in 2024. The quote is as follows: "The title I am referring to was met with high critical acclaim. Fans loved it. It was in the Game of the Year conversation the year it released. When the announcement comes, I think it's going to be met with a lot of excitement because this is a quality game." He then goes on to say, yes, Microsoft will be dabbling in bringing a first-party game to a competitor platform in 2024. At least one game I know of, don't know if there will be additional. So there's a lot of things to sort of take away from that statement. The first and foremost being, well, what platform is he talking about? And I think, I could be going out on a limb here, but I think it's reasonable to believe that we're talking about the Nintendo Switch instead of the PlayStation 5. While yes, there has been, stuff like Call of Duty that's now owned by Microsoft, so that technically is going to be a first-party game that will be available on PlayStation. When we look at like actual business relationships as far as putting games on a platform, you've seen it a lot more between Microsoft and Nintendo than you have seen with Microsoft and Sony. Stuff like the Ori games, when Hellblade came out, GoldenEye 007, like there is a track record there of Nintendo and Microsoft playing well with each other. So I don't think it's absolutely crazy to think that that's where this is going to line up as far as, where this game is going to land, because I'm sure that there is stuff like that happening in 2024. And I don't think, Microsoft comes out there and they say, oh, we want our games on everything, blah, 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 the whole third party thing. But at the end of the day, I still don't think they want to really work that deep with with Sony. And I don't think Sony wants to really work that deep with Microsoft. Look at the whole cross chat and cross platform progression thing. Sony was so against that. The best place to play games is on the PlayStation 4. Like, do we not remember this? The whole situation with Fortnite and Minecraft, where trailers came out saying Nintendo and Microsoft people play together, enjoy the games together. Like, that was a big thing. So I just don't think it is Sony when it comes to this equation. I think it's Nintendo, but it could be across both platforms. And then, of course, you got to get into what the game is itself. Like, what is the game actually going to be? We did get some additional details in Nate's video. Nate says that it's not Redfall. Not a big surprise there. Redfall wasn't, exactly something that that really lit the world on fire. I feel like myself, MVG, Spawn Wave, and Nate the Hate were like 4 of the 20 people who beat that game when it first came out. Like, the amount of completion percentages for the achievements was ridiculously low as far as, people actually playing through that game, and justifiably so. It was just at the point where we were like, well, we've already invested some time in this, so let's beat the game. So it's not Redfall. Something that's been coming up is the fact that it says the year it released. So really that kind of opens quite a few doors to what this could be. When you look at what Microsoft has done, however, you know, have they really had any of those highly critically acclaimed games that were in like a Game of the Year conversation? You know, really in quite a little bit of a while. I mean, you could go back into the archives, look at something like Rare Replay. I don't know, like I would like to see Rare Replay, but now with these N64 games coming over, like, yes, they are substantially better in Rare Replay, and I think Rare Replay would still be awesome on the Switch. I just don't see Nintendo, like, or even Sony for that matter, really going out of their way to want to get this game onto the platform. I feel like Rare Replay had its time in the sun. If you wanted to play the game, you've probably played the games and the games on this compilation, but I guess there is still a chance. Something like Pentiment, I don't think, to me, like, Pentiment is just not an RGT game, and it's not something that I personally would be excited about. I know it was a game that got very high review scores. I know it's a game that people really liked, but for me, it's just kind of like, no thank you. The games as a service stuff, you have Grounded, you have Sea of Thieves. I've actually grown to appreciate Sea of Thieves, and I'm in that Sea of Thieves documentary made by Rare talking bad about the game. Hey, when it first came out, the game sucked, but they added a lot to it and they made it a lot more fun. But I think the game that has the best chance, and I think the game that everyone needs to be looking at as the potential suitor for this business deal, I mean, it's Hi-Fi Rush. Like, let's call it a spade here. Hi-Fi Rush looks like a game that would be a huge success on the Nintendo Switch. Okay, it's a game that uses a very artistic style. You wouldn't really have to downgrade the graphics to a you know, unprecedented level or something like that, make it look all janky and stuff. No, it's an art engine that definitely lends itself to, you know, somewhat weaker technology when compared to the Xbox. It's a game that was very highly rated. It's a game that people talked about could be potentially their game of the year for 2023. It's a game that I played. I'm not the biggest fan of rhythm games. I did enjoy the bits that I played of that game. I didn't play it all the way through or anything like that, just because I'm not a super huge fan of rhythm games. But I understand that this was a game that people absolutely loved, and because of that, this seems like the game in question. You know, it's something that was, yes, technically a first-party Microsoft game, only available on Xbox and, of course, PC. But this to me fits like a glove, especially with the Nintendo, jeez Louise, I sound like my dad, the Nintendo Switch user base. It's something that I think makes perfect sense, and it's something that would sell well. Like, let's be real, if this game came out 30, 40 bucks, however much, I don't think it was a full price game. Even if it is a full price game, I still think it would sell well. But if you're talking about like 40 bucks physically for this or something like that, it's flying off the shelves. And once again, you're strengthening that relationship between Microsoft and Nintendo. Now, once again, this is all just speculation. It could be Hi-Fi Rush coming to the Switch. It could be Pentiment going to PlayStation 5. It could be, I don't know, you know, really the sky is the limit with this. But I definitely think, you know, the old adage, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I definitely think that there is something going on with this. So if you want the full reveal from Nate without really the speculation, because he already knows what game it is, or else he wouldn't talk about it. You could believe Nate, you could not believe Nate. That man has told me things off the record that I said, you're an idiot, that's not happening, and then it ends up happening. So I definitely trust him a lot. I'll have a link to Nate's podcast in the description box down below, so make sure you guys subscribe to that. But yeah, you know, 2024, I think you're gonna hear more stuff like this, more collaborative efforts, because I just think the video game industry is getting to a point where we're almost at like this bubble burst. Like, you know, companies are going out of business left and right. Layoffs are happening and stuff like that. Projects cost so much to make, and you have to sell so many millions and millions of copies that, you know, it's kind of detrimental to the industry. I think you're going to see more working together in order to keep the medium alive and growing and stuff like that. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this. What game do you think is the game that is in question here? I'll be interested to hear your guys' opinions on that. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you are new to the channel, I'm going back to the couch to eat some soup and hide under the blanket. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.